Hey guys.
Hey,
Alan Brochstein, you snuck in on us. You snuck in. How's it going?
All right, are we live?
We are live right now. You snuck
All
in
right.
on us there. Are you out in Denver?
I'm in Boulder, Colorado.
It's Boulder. That's a nice. I was actually there just about 6 months ago in Boulder, Colorado. It's a nice little town.
Oh my God. I don't know. It's a good way to get started for weed stock. Let's just put it that way.
6:21 in the morning though out there, so you're up bright and early.
I am.
okay.
What's on the agenda from you for the Weedstock conference?
So I guess I get in on Sunday. We have all these fun activities planned, including a party with Open Vape, a pool party. I know I probably should know all the details, but a visit to a glass factory, things like that. It's a great learning experience. I don't know. Have you guys, when you were here, did you get a chance to check out the dispensaries and things like that?
No, I actually did not, but we went out to the mountains. It was actually we were there in the winter, so we went out to Vail and we did a little bit of touring in the Rockies there. But man, it's a beautiful Denver and the whole area out there, Colorado. What a beautiful state.
It's unreal. I got out here last Sunday, been on a couple bike rides, and I think did a little field research. Actually took my wife in yesterday. She'd never been in a dispensary before. She's not into it at all, but she thought it was pretty neat. And so you asked about weed stocks. So then the big day is Monday. I think it kicks off Sunday night. There's a 2-hour reception and a presentation by one of the new companies that everybody wants to be like GW. They call themselves the mini GW Pharma. So that'll be interesting to hear from them. That's Cannabis Technologies out of Canada. Then Monday's a very full day. I don't even know. I'll be really glad when it's over because it starts at 7:45 and ends at 10 at night.
Whoa, long day
I
for
know.
you.
Big day. No, for everybody, but it's going to be awesome. I start with a keynote speech, and then it gets better all day long. So there'll be a lot of company presentations, a lunch, a dinner, a party afterwards. We have some interesting panels that day also. I'll be moderating one on, this one should be really exciting. We have somebody from Can Labs and someone formerly of Grow Life, as well as an investor who'll be on a panel discussing the SEC and FINRA and kind of the implications, how companies are able to deal with these issues and how investors should treat this threat of the SEC and FINRA. And then we have a panel in the afternoon on Canada, which, as you guys know, is one of my favorite big picture stories.
Are you like a rock star out there? Like when you go into these dispensaries and stuff, or people ask
No,
you?
no, not in the dispensaries, but this has been a great week for the whole industry. It started off on Monday with ArcView. ArcView is a angel investor network, and they have quarterly conferences, and this was their biggest ever by far. There were probably about 300 attendees at this conference. That was on Monday. I kind of felt like a star there. It's great to connect with these people, but I'm not used to people coming up to me saying, hey, are you Alan Brochstein? So it started that day, and then the next 2 days, then there's an industry trade association of which I'm a member, the National Cannabis Industry Association, NCIA for short. They had a 2-day conference, and I guess when you're on Seeking Alpha, everybody sees your picture, and I don't know where else they see my picture, but I'm not used to that. But,
So for the conference, is there? I mean, besides the people that are attending, is there going to be any like video replay or any live coverage on the conference, so people that can't make it out there could still see who the speakers are, or is it just going to be taped and put out afterwards?
so I don't think there's going to be any live webcasting that I'm aware of, but everything's being videoed and it will be distributed from what I understand. There will be media coverage. I'm not sure who all the attendees are, but I've seen a lot of requests. So hopefully it'll get out there. There's nothing like being there. I think one of the things I learned at the NCIA conference was where I don't think I even attended half the scheduled events was just the ability to meet with people in the industry. If you're an investor, to get to talk to these companies in the hall, I think you get a real feel. Sometimes you don't get from press releases or prepared presentations, but just that one-on-one contact, and there'll be a lot of opportunities for that.
Are you going to be doing any live tweeting of the event there, Alan?
Well,
For
you
your
guys know
followers?
I'm very, very fortunate just to be able to talk to you right now. I got my Skype to work on the Wi-Fi.
Right.
But I think so. I should be able to do that. That should be in my technology bailiwick. So I am trying to get some stuff going on 420 Investor, where we'll have a lot of members there. I don't know how many will have the ability to post live, but we have a forum, so hopefully we'll get some information there if there's anything that's like breaking news. But I'll be working on that, and hopefully the rest of the people in the 420 investor community that are able to do that will participate. And I don't know. I've heard one company's going to make a big announcement. They didn't tell me which one though, so I'll let everybody know when I hear which one.
Yeah, you let us know for sure. We obviously want to know. Is GW Pharma going to be there, or are they just too far away?
No, they're not going to be there. But I was really impressed. This is MarketVi's first conference ever, and I think it's going to be unbelievable. And I will say they had to work very hard to get. Every time you do something for the first time, there's challenges. And the thing that really has impressed me the most is their ability to get together just a great agenda. And it's kind of funny because one of my big themes for this conference will be the second wave. And you've had me on the show enough to know that there's these companies that have been around for a long time. They've had the chance to do things the right way, to improve, to grow, show some sort of revenue, whatever it is that would really justify their existence as a public company, and they haven't done that. None of those companies are going to be there. I don't think that's a coincidence, by the way. But we have some exciting new companies, some of which we haven't talked about them yet. There's been a few recent listings. I just mentioned that Cannabis Technologies. That's a Canadian company. They just listed in Canada and then got a OTC listing in the United States. There's a analytical lab here in Denver that I've known for a while. They just went public through reverse merger, and I'm starting to see a bunch of new companies. That's going to be exciting to meet some of these newer companies. But we have some of the older ones that I think have kind of earned their stripes. TerraTech will be there. I know we talk about Creative Edge or FIDX a lot. They're going to be there.
Yeah.
Abatis will be there. I don't know if we've talked about that one, but it's a good mix of the old and the new.
What are any of these companies, the newer ones, are any of them listed actually yet, or they're just getting their listing and just going to get started on the exchanges?
So, so what I'm seeing right now is there's still, it's almost all OTC. Now, when I've been in Denver this past week, I've talked to some companies that have NASDAQ aspirations. So that'll be interesting. I mean, there's no way to know if that'll succeed until NASDAQ blesses it, but it's theoretically possible that some of these companies that are revenue generating already will be able to do that. But the recent listings, what's been interesting about them is a few of them, well, one of the companies that'll be at Weedstock is doing what's called an S1. So they're not doing a reverse merger. They have an operating company that's private, and they're going to just initially file an S1. There's no reverse merger. So it's a little bit higher standard, but unfortunately still we're in the OTC space for the vast majority of these companies.
So what about, we get some questions here about PHOT. Alan, do you have any updates on that?
Not really. The company's really trying hard to get back on track. It's unfortunate. Another one of the things I'm going to be a little bit more vocal about is and we've talked about this, when when the SEC suspends a stock, the company has to reapply for a listing through FINRA. And unfortunately, FINRA has no guidelines for this. There's no deadlines for when they rule or don't rule. So even if a company hasn't done anything wrong, if the SEC can suspend a company for any reason. So we've talked about Advanced Cannabis Solutions, where it's really clear the company didn't do anything wrong, but one of their shareholders did. So, but yet the company continues to be punished months later, even though it apparently didn't do anything wrong. So I'm hoping that FINRA will reevaluate this policy and figure out a way to, in a more timely process, to get these companies that aren't most of these companies that SEC and FINRA are acting on probably do deserve a long-term punishment, protect the investors. But in the event that there's not a problem, the stock should be listed again. And that's the big problem with Grow Life. One of the big problems with Grow Life right now, they have, as a gray sheet company, for instance, the insiders that hold stock, or CanX, they're third party, or any future investors, they can't sell the stock. So if you can't sell a stock, it's not a very valuable stock. So as long as it's not listed, the vast majority of brokerages will not accept paper certificates in gray sheet companies. So that's a huge problem.
Which company did the S1 that you were just talking about 2 minutes ago there?
I'll tell you next time.
Oh, okay. You can't tell us that yet. So.
It's public information, but it's not there's been no press release. They haven't told anybody about it. You have to dig through the SEC filings to find out. But I'll tell you all about it next time.
Okay, we can sneak that information. Okay, well, I want to get your top picks here. You know, we haven't talked to you for a couple of weeks here. I want to get your top picks here in the sector right now. Obviously, we got the conference going on here. Who do you think's, who's your top picks here right now?
It's funny because this will prove I don't have any bias. So IMSIG continues to be one of my favorite companies in the space. That's the one up in the Seattle, Washington area. They start off with a $10 vape pen. Then they did an acquisition for a tabletop vaporizer, but they've done a lot more since then. So they won't be at the conference, but that continues to be one of my top picks. I think this company, TerraTech, has hit a lot of controversy recently. Since I was last on your show, they and another company that I'm still researching a lot of the issues with this one, but the other company is called GrowBlocks, GBLX, and then TerraTech's TRTC. So those two companies were successful in the Clark County. That's near Las Vegas. It's the unincorporated part around Las Vegas. Clark County zoning permits to get, in the case of GBLX, they got both a dispensary and a cultivation zoning permit, and TerraTech got a cultivation and production permit. So these are going to be potentially the first companies that can touch cannabis. It'll be, I'm not sure it's going to happen, but you have to get that license first to find out. So the state of Nevada is in a process now that should be complete by September 3rd, and these are for medical licenses. So those two are really interesting to me, and I know TerraTech a lot more. I feel like that's one of my top picks these days also.
What's the symbol on TerraTech?
TRTC.
TRTC. Yeah, not seeing much by the chart, but I mean, what's going to take to really kickstart, the industry? You had the initial run up, the euphoria in some of these stocks, and now, a lot of them have, come back down to their original prices. Really, GWPH has been a great performer. Is it going to come in more states approving cannabis? Is there going to be more medical uses? I mean, it's, there always needs to be a driver, and it just seems like there's...
No, that's a great point. So I think I always try to tell the 420 investor community, these stocks are, for the most part, are not cheap. So, and that's one of the things I picked up on this conference also, listening to others, that, at the beginning of a huge change like this, people lay their bets and make their picks. And right now, there's been an imbalance. I've talked about this all year. The number of people that are kind of waking up to the opportunity on the investment side outnumber the number of really good opportunities. Most of the good opportunities are in the private space. This is nothing new. We've been talking about that. That doesn't mean the public stocks can't go up, and they'll go up in waves. And we can talk about some of these catalysts or drivers that you're talking about. But I just want to point out that, unfortunately, a lot of these companies are really expensive. Like that IMSIG that I just mentioned, it has a market cap of about 250 million if you convert all the securities that are convertible. So that's a lot of money for a company that's just getting started. But one of the things I said at the NCIA conference was I asked people if they bought Google when it came out, and I asked, there were just a few people, and I said, well, did it seem cheap at the time? And so that's the big challenge. These companies are not going to be cheap. So you get past that, and then you get to what you're pointing to. So Colorado on January 1st. The media attention was insane, and it drove, I couldn't believe it at the time, a 7x increase in these stocks. That's not sustainable. Right. So, but does that mean that the stocks, and we've been in a big correction since then, and as a matter of fact, the index that we created has fallen from 1010 to 360, but it started the year at 159, so it's still more than doubled. So what's it going to take to get the stocks going in? Well, I've already alluded to one. I think we got these better companies entering the sector. The one that's going through the S1, and that'll start trading in a few months, and I'll tell you about it next time. That's a social media site. They have 150,000 subscribers. They're not monetizing yet, so it's going to be another one of these. It's trading at an infinite multiple of revenue because they haven't started to monetize. But this company makes. They have an online community for people to discuss cannabis, and unfortunately, there's still a lot of stigma in the world when it comes to cannabis. In general, certainly not on the, talking to people in 420 Investor, we don't have stigma about it, but in general, there's a lot of stigma. So I think this company that I'll tell you about next time has
Okay.
a really good idea. But I think that's one of the catalysts, getting these better companies. But the other ones we have on the regulatory front, we have okay. So we already knew we had Las Vegas.
Alan, we got about 1 minute here. We got some other
Okay.
guests. So
Florida. Florida's the big one, guys. Florida's voting in November, and that's going to be a big catalyst if we get that approved.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Good luck at the Weedstock Conference, and perhaps we'll sneak you on during the conference next week. Good luck, Alan, and as always, thanks for coming on.
Thanks
Thanks
Alan.
for having me, guys. Y'all have a great weekend.